All right.
I was looking at videos from 5 years ago on YouTube, and these were videos that I was making when I had started moving more towards trying to create some kind of online presence. I always realized the value of being able to reach more people, and as social media was growing in the last 15 years, I started to see, wait a second, like this could be really powerful if you can capture your message and if you can communicate it well with people. So anyway, I had been kind of navigating this transition into life coaching, and I say kind of navigating meaning I was doing a little bit of it in my identity, though, in my perception of how I see myself. That's what identity means. I really wasn't accepting fully, like, this is something that I could be doing. And so there was a bit of kind of like, I'm taking one step forward, one step back. And you then go through periods of time on the entrepreneur journey. You go through periods of time where you say, okay, I'm actually going to like put my foot down and not go back. And then you go through another growth season. You take another step and you say, this is firm, I'm not going back. And for me, getting things together to put a few videos out, thoughtful videos out online, was me putting my foot down anyway. So I was looking at these YouTube videos, and I was really trying. And so when I was putting my foot down, I was really trying. I was like, I'm gonna really try at this. And I knew, though, deep down inside, I knew like I had so much more to learn and to grow in. And so I always felt this, some people call it imposter syndrome, but I always felt this really like this, like, I'm not good enough. And so it's a self-worth thing. It can turn into an imposter thing because it's like, who am I to say? So I was looking at these videos the other day, and I was watching them, and I remember at that moment, just the other day, I remember thinking to myself, man, he's really trying, thinking about my younger self, he's really trying, but I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. And you know, what's funny is, like, I wanted to be somewhere I wasn't when I was starting. The journey started, the entrepreneur journey for me started when I left Wall Street, but you know, how I got onto the path that I'm on in doing life coaching and now kind of business coaching with people, how I got onto that path, it wasn't like I had everything built for me and it was a smooth transition and I was living a cushy life with plenty of money. It was like, actually, I had no trust fund. I didn't have anything ready for me. I didn't know how any of it was going to work. And I remember one day I just kind of had this idea. I was like, wait, I could be doing life coaching. Well, I had no idea how much healing, changing, and growing I really needed. And I think God really used that thought to help me start my journey in becoming who I needed to be, in becoming the man that could be helpful and a guide to other people. But as I was looking at this video the other day, I remember thinking, you know, it wasn't perfect. The video series that I started, it wasn't perfect. It didn't have everything that maybe I would include today, but it was a start. And I'm so proud of my younger self because that start actually helped me unlock all of these gifts that God had waiting for me when I was ready. But I had to start the process to unlock those giftings. I had to start the process. And me letting go of this idea of I need to uphold a reputation for everybody else, or I might not be accepted, or I might not have results right away that I'm looking for. I might not be able to make the money I want. I might not be able to make the impact I want, et cetera, et cetera. If I wasn't able to first surrender and say, Lord, I trust you with my life, including my professional life, I would have never gone through the path of discovering, well, I actually don't have everything figured out, but I can try. And so over the course of the first year leaving Wall Street, one of the things that had to happen for me was I actually ended up losing all my money. I ended up, I say it had to happen. It didn't have to happen that way, but it did. I ended up losing all my money trading. I had, and this is not in sequential order, but all of these things happened. I had moved out of New York to a lower cost of living city in Richmond, Virginia. I was from Virginia, so I thought, well, I can go to a city that's new to me, but lower cost of living than New York City. I ended up moving back to New York City under conviction by God. Holy Spirit convicted me as I was getting off the train visiting New York for the third time in like 2 months. And he was like, you have to be back here. And so I ended up moving back to New York City. All these things fell into place. The car I'd bought, I was able to sell within like a month or two of purchasing it. I got the same money I bought it for out of it. And just an opening for an apartment to live in opened up for me. And so I was back in New York City, and I was trying to navigate, like, who am I and where am I going? I ended up receiving coaching and counseling, kind of multi-faceted 2-day session. And that's when I started discovering, wait, I could do this for other people. It's in me. It's in my DNA. And throughout that process and throughout the journey of kind of saying no to certain things, I remember I launched a shoe online. I sold 25 pairs of shoes off one Facebook post, and then I thought they were coming from Italy. They came from China. Everybody got them, and I was like, these are not the quality I was expecting. And I gave everybody the option to return their money because I felt badly about it. I bought a house, and I was just trying a bunch of different things. And I had this unrealistic expectation that I needed to know the thing. I needed to know exactly what I was doing, and I needed to be really good at it right away. And I share all that to say the process of discovering who you are is intellectual, it is spiritual, it is also very practical in that you're made in the image of God. And so as you get to know more about God, you get to know more about yourself. But you have so many lies that you've come into agreement with throughout your life that are going to take a little bit of time for you to break out of. And sometimes that process looks like trying and not succeeding in the ways that you think success looks like. Sometimes that process looks like, I did this thing, it didn't work out the way I thought, and I have to make decisions. Is this really me? Is this not me? Am I going to keep going? And then as you try different things, you start to realize, wait, there's a light bulb moment here. This really fires me up. This really gets me excited. And God starts getting excited for you because he's like, I made you that way because I'm that way. I made you with that passion inside of you because I have that passion inside of me. I made you with that gifting because I have that gifting and I wanted to give it to you, but you weren't ready. And as I started trying all these different things and as I started navigating, I realized, oh my gosh, like, no, or I could do, but this one thing, when I'm helping other people, it really makes me feel alive. It really makes me feel like this is one of the reasons I'm alive. And that's what I found through coaching, but I had never really thought about it as an option. I never really considered it because I was so concerned with my own reputation. I frankly don't even like the words life coach. I don't even like associating with it today because it's not my community. Like, I don't like the industry. I don't think the way that it's done is my expression in who God created me to be. So that was really hard to try and navigate. Okay, I'm gonna jump into something that's not really what I've experienced or seen. I'm going to create my own expression. But God's like, yes, because I made you with your own thumbprint. And so for a lot of people, they're just waiting for this one word, permission. And when you get permission, you start to realize you have to remove expectation. Expectation comes when you have beliefs about yourself or others that things have to look a certain way. And God has an original design in mind, for sure. There is a right and a wrong in life. And the process of discovering God's original design for you and how he made you might be a little messy. And that mess keeps people from even starting. That mess keeps people from trying. the perception. I need to have all this money. I need to have this perfect thing to communicate to other people when they're asking me what I do for a living, or I need to insert the blank. I need to have this certification, whatever it may be. To call out the entrepreneur in you, you first have to start removing all of these weighty expectations and judgments and perceptions. And you're gonna have to maybe for a while separate yourself from people's influence in your life. And I say people, meaning people that you've allowed or given authority to speak into your life. You're gonna have to really spend that time with the Lord. And for me, what that looked like was spending time reading my Bible and just seeking and asking. And as He would lead me to opportunities that maybe there was a little bit of fear that would creep up, but as He would lead me to opportunities, despite maybe some of the emotions I was experiencing, I started to get more discernment because of being able to know that I was really seeking Him and being earnest in that. And so I was able to say, you know what, even if this opportunity isn't the perfect opportunity for me, even if it's not exactly what I'll do the rest of my life, even if it's not the right opportunity, and Lord, I didn't hear you properly, I knew that I was seeking Him, and that's the difference to me. I knew that God led me to that place, and so if I was seeking Him, that was the most important thing. And it says in the Bible, seek first the kingdom. Well, the kingdom is, where's like righteousness, peace, and joy, Lord? Like, that's the kingdom of God. Where's righteousness, peace, and joy in my decisions? And I had righteousness, peace, and joy in knowing that I was seeking Him no matter the outcome. In my process of discovering, okay, it's life coaching or whatever version of that was going to be expressed through me, I had to really take a step back and first get to the place of like, am I seeking God, or am I trying to receive acceptance from other people's opinions? And when I was trying to process all of this together and bring it to a point where I was like, you know, what keeps people from moving forward? It's like, well, you know, if I'm looking at those YouTube videos from 5 years ago, and I'm looking at it through the lens of like the worldly view, I might look at those and go, gosh, this guy is kind of corny or cheesy or doesn't know what he's doing. But if I look at it through the lens of God, if I put on those glasses and I see what His perspective is, I see and I genuinely feel this. I'm so proud of you, son, keep going. And so the more that you look through your decisions, the more that you look at your decisions through the lens of like, what are other people going to think of me, the longer it's going to take for that entrepreneur to come out of you. The starting point for this whole journey in your mindset is like, God, you made me a certain way. I want to become that person. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I'm willing to try. And that is the starting point for you to even begin your journey and continue your journey in the growth that you're having. Is you got to give yourself permission and seek God's kingdom, ask for discernment, know that when you're making decisions, you are seeking Him first. And as a result, you can trust that no matter the outcome, you're in the right direction.